Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso, and my experience and expertise is in scaling all types of medical companies to 7, 8, and even 9 figures. And I am here to tell you how I did it. This isn't a podcast directing you and telling you you should do this most of the time, but it is a podcast where I tell you what I did. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. And I got something special for you guys today. I'll tell you a little story. Back to Jesuit High School. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Senior year, Spanish class project. The purpose was to deliver an entire presentation in Spanish about a famous Spanish person. Everyone else is doing the usual posters, essays, PowerPoint slides about famous Spaniards. You know, Pablo Picasso, Miguel de Cervantes, Queen Isabella, the safe stuff. Me, I went all in. I made a full-on music video to Hero by Enrique Iglesias. Cinematic lighting, corny slow motion shots, changing in and out of my hero outfit. I believe back then it was my Superman outfit. My buddies might have acted as extras. I had a guitar. I was playing it all. It was ridiculous and it was awesome. And there was one problem though. It was in English. My teacher, an old school Spaniard who rode his bike 6 miles to school every day, looked at me like I had personally offended the entire Iberian Peninsula. And he gave me an F, straight up. It didn't matter that I was creative, didn't matter that it was well shot, funny, had production value, and everyone in the school fucking loved it. Didn't matter that I still got a B overall in the class. I broke the rule. But here is where it gets good. One of my best friends that year was the yearbook editor. That same yearbook editor that allowed me to take all those photos. He did me a solid on this one. When he burned the senior DVD, he secretly embedded my video inside of it. And yep, in order to get that, you had to type a hidden code on your DVD remote. And guess what? It was the same as Nintendo. Boom! My hero video would unlock like a secret level in the video game, and nobody knew about it until it was already too late. It was the first Easter egg I ever planted. Years later, that thing somehow made it onto YouTube, probably my friend's fault. And now every 10 years, I remake that same video. Same song, bigger energy, way worse decisions. The last one I made was for my good friend's wedding that I couldn't actually get to. And here's the point. That F taught me something about life, leadership, and a little bit of creativity that I've never forgotten. Sometimes the thing you get punished for ends up being your blueprint. You see, creativity makes rule followers nervous. It always has. You can trace that back through history. Vincent van Gogh sold very, very, very few paintings in his entire lifetime. Some scholars argue he only sold one painting his entire lifetime. People thought his brushwork was sloppy, his colors too bright, his style too chaotic. Now, he's the face of genius. Or take Igor Stravinsky. When The Rite of Spring premiered in Paris in 1913, the audience actually rioted. Like literally, people threw things. French are crazy. The police had to break it up. Now, it's considered one of the most revolutionary works in classical music ever. They called him crazy. They called him wrong. They called him a failure. He was just early. That's what it means to be creative. You're going to get misunderstood in real time. People will fail to recognize your intent because they're busy measuring your obedience. My Spanish teacher wasn't trying to kill my creativity. He just couldn't see that the point of the project wasn't language, it was engagement. And that's what every creative or entrepreneur has to deal with. When you build something new, the rule followers, they're gonna freak out because they can't measure what doesn't fit inside their little rubric. They see rebellion, they see innovation, they see disrespect. You see play, they see risk. You see art. Every artist, every founder, every leader has their own Spanish class story. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple for being too difficult. Years later, on the brink of extinction, he came back and turned it into one of the most valuable companies on earth. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter saw daylight. Now she's one of the most successful authors in American history. Prince changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol just to get out of an exploitative record contract. The label said he was finished. Instead, he became a legend because he refused to play by rules that weren't built for him. You see, sometimes, guys, the rule breakers aren't wrong. They're just operating on a different wavelength. That's the part no one tells you. Innovation never looks safe while it's happening. It looks reckless, it looks dumb, it looks like an F until it doesn't. So here's what I tell people now. If your creativity makes people uncomfortable, good. If your ideas don't fit the template, even better. It means you're doing something real. It means you're not just echoing what's been said, you're building what hasn't been seen. And when that happens, there's always someone, one friend, one believer who will help you hide that Easter egg. That's how movements start. One person says, hey, I think you're onto something. And suddenly, your secret video is on the senior year DVD. Years later, maybe it's your company. Maybe it's your art. Maybe it's your culture, but it all started with an act of defiance wrapped in creativity. So when people criticize what you're building, when they call it reckless, pointless, immature, or dumb, remember this. Every rule you break intentionally with excellence becomes a seed. Maybe not everyone gets it. Maybe you get an F. Maybe you get laughed at. But if you keep showing up, if you keep creating with heart and with humor and with boldness, the world, it eventually catches up. And if they won't let your work play on the main screen, fuck it, hide it in the code. Make it impossible to erase. Make it unforgettable. Because the secret to creative leadership isn't permission, it's persistence. You see, sometimes the only difference between a failure and a legend is time. And a good friend who knows how to hide your masterpiece in plain sight. Break the rule, make it excellent. And when the world gives you an F for being different, just smile. Because you'll know what they don't, that your Easter egg is still in there, waiting to be found.